Hey, this is Jeff Haynes, editor on the IGN PlayStation team, and we're here talking about NBA 07 for the PS3. Less than 2 months ago, Sony gave us NBA 07 The Life Volume 2, a decent but flawed basketball title. Now, for the PS3 launch, Sony has scrapped the Life story mode and instead focused more on fixing the gameplay issues with this title. So let's get right into the gameplay. The first change is improved AI, both on your team and the other side of the ball. The last game actually had a couple of problems, especially with positioning. A lot of times people would stand still, you could drive through the lane to the basket without even being contested. This time around, you actually find players sliding to actually do their assignments or their checks. People will contest you if you try and drive the open lane, and they'll actually change their tactics, so you have to sometimes dish out to the perimeter if somebody's playing you really close on the inside. Another change that's been made is in the shooting mechanic. Now, the visuals of the shooting mechanic haven't changed. It still has the colors itself associated with making a shot, but the timing of the mechanic has actually been improved. You now have to anticipate pressing the button to accelerate the meter along the color path. And if you wind up using the same timing for the PS2 version for the PS3, you're going to miss a lot of shots and wind up having to play a lot more defense than you anticipated. NBA 07 also uses the 6-axis motion controller for spins, crossovers, and jukes. Now, crossovers and jukes work okay, but for the most part you're going to want to rely on that right analog thumbstick because they don't have the sensitivity that you'd like. Spins, on the other hand, actually makes you feel like you're on the court performing that action, and it's a really nice way of getting into the game. Now, if you've played this game before, you're pretty much accustomed to the standard league modes and a lot of the mini-games. There are only a few mini-games this time around, 3 in all, but the really core part of the game that really is exciting is NBA Replay, which is probably one of the best modes that has been included in a sports game in the past couple of years. It's broken out into 2 specific modes, the season and games of the week. The season takes 2 of the best games from 25 weeks of the 2005-2006 NBA season and gives you possible challenges that you can fulfill on your own console at home. Games of the Week, on the other hand, gives basketball fans something to look forward to every week. The designers of NBA 07 analyzed the best performances from every week of the 2006 season, turned those performances into scenarios, and allow you to download them to your PS3 so that you can actually test your skills against the real-life situations. There are primary and secondary goals that you can test your skills against, and you'll be able to find out whether or not you actually measure up to the actual performances in the games themselves. Now, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of unlockables that you can have, so the only thing that you have are bragging rights that you can post online to see who has the best score at a certain scenario. And it makes a very serious statement as to what sports games should provide their players for a next-gen experience. Speaking of next-gen, Sony has been touting NBA 07 as the first game in 1080p Full HD. And if you happen to have the setup for this game, it actually looks beautiful. The character animations have been improved, the textures are great and crisp, and you see a lot more action and banging beneath the boards and nice little touches on shots. The only problem that happens to come up with a lot of the graphics is the sweat engine that's been provided. It's okay, but the heavy detail of the perspiration on the athletes themselves makes them look like plastic army men after only 30 seconds of running up and down on the court. It's all well and good if your engine can render such a detail, but it'd be nice if it was a little bit more realistic. So NBA 07 is fun to play, and it's mostly pretty to look at, but there are still some bugs in the game, primarily with clock management, backcourt violations that really aren't there, and fatigue. The clock management is particularly a problem, especially during the tail end of a quarter when the computer's down, because it will just hold on to the ball without taking a shot or trying to intentionally foul you to get back into the game. There are backcourt violations that are called, which simply don't exist. I'm not talking about the 8-second violation or losing a ball into the backcourt and possibly stepping over the line. I'm just talking about being flagged for something that never actually happened. Finally, the fatigue system is completely off. You can have a player who's completely exhausted out on the court, yet he'll still be sprinting around and taking jump shots as if he was completely rested and fresh off the bench. Obviously, this is something that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Overall, NBA 07 is a fun sports title for the launch of the PS3. Sure, the 6-axis controller may feel a little bit gimmicky, but NBA 07 has actually improved on a lot of areas, particularly the gameplay and the AI. And for what it's worth, NBA Replay is an excellent mode that should be included in every single next-gen sports title from here on out. Unfortunately, there's still a couple of bugs that hamper it from being a great sports title. Any other questions, take a look at the review on the website. See you later.